Hey! Hey! We're just here to introduce this episode of the Super Divorce Supercast, so, check us out at superdivorceme.com. Superdivorceme.com, yeah.
Yeah, superdivorceme.com. You can also find us on facebook.com/superdivorce, Twitter @superdivorce, Instagram @superdivorceband. You can follow Nicholas all across social media by typing in @Nicholas Villars. You can also add him on Steam @Venom_Villars.
That's right.
Play some Lawbreakers with him. He would really appreciate it.
I would.
And you can follow me. Your best bet is on Instagram @BenderButt. We were on the radio today.
We were.
And we're going to talk about that. And then I honestly can't even remember what else we talked about because I'm like hella drunk.
That's okay. No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. It's you'll understand why right when we start out with Beer Me here in a minute.
Yeah, just listen. Listen to see.
So you guys should enjoy, chefs.
Enjoy.
We are not getting a divorce.
We are not getting a divorce.
We are not getting a divorce.
Hey man, welcome to the Super Divorce Supercast. This is Nicholas.
And Bender.
This is Beer Me. To start the show.
Yeah, we got lots of beer today, actually. Super Divorce gets lots of beer.
Lots of beer. We're going to start it with one that we walked right in and picked out immediately as soon as we saw it.
Oh, I thought we were starting with
the
rum
that's right.
can.
Okay, well, we can do that. We can do that.
I don't know, that's just what we talked about downstairs.
Yeah, I just picked it up. Sorry, that's my bad. Well, then we'll
as a precursor,
tease it.
Yeah, we'll tease. We picked a beer immediately as soon as we walked in the store.
And ironically, we're not going to start the show with it.
Right.
So
you're going to have to wait.
So what we're actually starting with is Bender peels the golden
ticket.
It's got like a kind of golden wrapping around the top.
Like a wine bottle almost, or a champagne bottle.
It's from Avery Brewing.
It is called the Rumpkin. Ale brewed with pumpkin and spices, aged in rum barrels. Whew! It is 16.9% alcohol by volume.
Holy shit!
That is,
I didn't see that.
That is a strong beer.
Wow.
Good Lord.
Just to give you some perspective, there's about 4.5% alcohol in a Bud Light.
Yeah.
So, in this one bottle, the regular size bottle,
about 4.5 Bud Lights. Good Lord.
That's intense. I did not realize that. Okay, well.
Bottoms up, right? Ooh.
Cheers.
Ooh. That is a robust.
That is
chocolatey.
There's a lot of flavor there.
Yeah.
A lot to unpack in that sip there. And it's like
it even gives you the warm feeling of drinking rum.
I was gonna say it's very much like that's a strange one because it doesn't seem like you're drinking beer exactly because you get that you're not used to that much bite,
right?
And that's not the type of bite that you talk about with like an IPA.
No.
That's not an IPA bite that we're talking about. That's just like an alcohol bite.
There's a nice warmth to it, even though it's a cold beer.
Mm-hmm.
Just gives you the tingles.
I don't think you want to pound this one.
Hell no.
This is a sipping beer.
Yeah, this is definitely a sipping beer. Really, we should have poured these into glasses.
We still can if you want.
I mean, no, it's
Okay.
fine now. I've started with the bottle.
Yeah.
Started with the bottle. Now we're here.
Very good.
This is a good beer, though.
Well, here's your description.
Oh, okay. There's one on the side.
Brewed and bottled by Avery Brewing Co. in Boulder, Colorado. We wondered what would happen if a monstrous pumpkin ale, plump, full of spicy gordiness, were aged in fine, fresh rum barrels to add suggestions of delicate oak and candied molasses. Rumkin is what happens.
Yeah. Brewed with Rocky Mountain water, malted barley, pumpkin, nutmeg, cinnamon, ginger, hops, and yeast.
Ooh, this is this is a great beer. First of all, for this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
You would probably not want to drink this on a beach.
No, this would be too heavy for that.
Yeah. But for right about now, even through it would even be a good winter beer, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
But the aesthetic of the packaging, the bottle, it's nice and Halloween-y.
It almost suggests like a pirate's Halloween.
Yeah, it does. It's a good observation because you got like the jug that you would typically see like
in rum.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the skull and crossbones on it.
It says batch number 7,
Uh-huh.
and it's sitting next to a pumpkin.
But it's like, it looks like it's on like wood.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's been burned onto wood, so that kind of helps. And then the text of Rumpkin and the ale, underneath it, really kind of suggests pirate.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they call it ale,
Yeah. Almost 17% alcohol.
in a 12 fluid ounce bottle.
I'm pretty sure that this would have been illegal in Ohio up until like a couple years ago.
Really?
Because there was I don't remember what the percentage was, but you couldn't go above a certain percentage with a beer. I'm pretty sure it was around 11%. But they lifted that. Like, I don't know why they even did that in the first place. I think I remember hearing that it was something like, oh, well, if we allow people to sell beer that's above this percentage, then it's going to increase the likelihood of kids getting drunk. It's like, well, what makes you think kids won't just get into their parents' liquor cabinet and take like straight
That has
100
yeah.
proof whatever?
It's got literally nothing to do with kids getting drunk.
Yeah. Or they'll just drink more of something shitty if they want to get drunk, Like,
they make the same point in SLC Punk when Matthew Lillard's character goes on a rant about the alcohol, the percentage of alcohol allowed in Salt Lake City.
Mm-hmm.
And he says beer is only allowed to have like 4 points instead of 6. And he's like, but why? A drunk is just going to drink twice as many beers to get drunk, and then not only do you have a drunk on your hands, but you've got a drunk who's a fat, gross slob from drinking all the beer.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, yeah,
That's
pretty
true.
much. Have you ever seen that movie?
I never have.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
I've always heard... I remember there was a period of time when I used to walk past it at Blockbuster. Like, every time I went, and I would think about renting it, and I just never did.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if you have any movie like that you remember seeing, like, repeatedly, and you're like, I should watch this.
Jack Frost.
The horror movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even that I should see it. It just always, like, I was always like, there's a movie called Jack Frost.
Mm-hmm.
And the snowman transforms into a, like... Yeah, that's probably one. That I remember that one distinctly from going to the video stores.
With
the
box,
lenticular
yeah.
cover. You need to. We should watch SLC Punk. It's so good.
They made a sequel, didn't they?
Yeah, not good.
Not good?
Not good. Unfortunately. I knew it wouldn't be, but I watched, I tried to watch it and it just... I think it still kind of hits the nail on the head as far as like that whole culture.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is like pretty accurately depicted. Maybe to the extreme of said culture, but still an accurate depiction. Like, the main character is like an emo kid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't personally know people that were like him, but I know that people like him existed.
Yeah.
So I think it's still a very accurate description of all of these different sort of punk subcategories, but it's like it's just not a great movie.
Have we ever talked about the idea for a Wayne's World sequel, threequel?
No, I don't think so.
I think it would work. I really do. Because the scene of like cool music is so different now as opposed to when they were like actually cool.
Uh-huh.
I feel like it'd be a really easy story to tell. It's just like they decide to like something has happened since Wayne's World 2 where they kind of drifted apart and then they decide to like get back together. But when they jump back into the waters of like pop music, I use that term loosely, but I just mean popular music in general, that they're like totally fish out of water and they're, trying to
bring their 80s metal culture to a 21 Pilots show.
Yeah, yeah. Or like, just because there are like multiple different groups that you could interact with. It wouldn't have to be just one, but that would be one, And
Yeah.
then you've got like this super duper hipster people who like ride unicycles and have twisty mustaches,
Listen to Vampire Weekend.
Yeah. And then
Or Portugal the Man.
Yeah. They could go to a hardcore show, and what hardcore is now.
Right.
Yeah. I think it'd be a fun story to tell.
That would be kind of fun because you could use that movie as a vehicle for like to bring back classic rock. Not that it's ever gone anywhere.
Yeah.
But like that could be sort of their quest is to like remind people of classic rock.
A Bill and Ted Wayne's World crossover always seemed obvious to me too.
That would be so awesome.
Because they want to do the third Bill and Ted.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to think about what possibly that would be like what the story would be.
Well, we're going to do a third Weekend at Bernie's. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
What was that called? Wasn't it? He was going to be elected as a public official, wasn't he? Or as president?
I think so because he was going to be like the first person to return from cryogenic stasis,
That's
basically.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
And he becomes like a celebrity.
Uh-huh. And then gets elected for something, I feel like.
I don't know if we went this way with it before, but what if... I feel like it'd be the natural result of all this that somehow, Richard and Larry end up as like a part of his cabinet or something.
Yeah, I think we did talk about that.
Okay. And then he dies again.
They have to
They try and keep him, make it look like he's still alive.
Yeah.
This time instead of it's like a low level mob person, there's like a professional assassin who's been out to kill him. And obviously they just keep bringing him back.
Yeah.
And this assassin looks completely inept at his job because he's been hired by like a foreign government to assassinate the president of the United States, who happens to be Bernie Lomax.
He can't do it.
It's pretty much just like the story of the original, but on like a worldwide stage.
Yeah, on a worldwide stage. That's what you do, though.
Yeah.
That's what you do with the third movie in a series, is you blow it way out of proportion. That would be so fucking funny.
Man, that needs to happen before... I don't want to... I just know that, what's his name? Terry Kaiser. He's got to be getting up there.
Yeah.
But he still looked good. I looked him up recently. Looks like he's doing all right. I mean, what the fuck else is he doing?
Except Weekend at Bernie's 3.
I just wonder. I'm sure he's done like TV shows and stuff. I haven't looked up his IMDb.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like he's probably stayed busy enough. Jonathan Silverman, I've seen him in other things since then. He was on an episode of Psych, actually.
Really?
The dark-haired guy,
Mm-hmm.
who was actually Sarah Silverman's brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
I need
If
to
the-
watch the movie again.
at the very least, if he falls on hard times, he can probably just call her up and be like, hey,
Yeah, probably.
struggling.
Put me in one of your shows
Yeah.
or something. Probably.
Andrew McCarthy, I don't know what he's been up to. You could also do maybe a Pretty in Pink sequel with him.
Mm-hmm.
No one would make any John
No, wasn't...
Hughes.
Wait, was Andrew McCarthy Pretty in Pink, or was he 16 Candles?
Pretty in
Pretty
Pink.
Pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
16 Candles.
Yeah,
was
he's
Anthony Michael Hall.
he's the popular kid in Pretty
Yeah.
in Pink. That's right.
Yeah. Not, what's his name?
I
Not
don't-
Spader,
Right.
but the main
The
love
other-
interest.
Right, the main love interest. Who played Ducky again?
Fuck, what's his name? Can't remember that. The guy from 2.5
Yeah,
Men.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I
I
just
can't remember his name.
I don't watch 2.5 Men, so
I watched a few episodes, I think, but
I never got into sitcoms too much.
Perfect Strangers.
I don't know what that is.
Really?
Really?
Colson Larry? No?
Nope.
Balky?
Nope.
Wow.
That is like 0 bells are ringing
Oh,
at that.
wow. Okay, well. Okay. That's a podcast episode.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be. Season 1 of Perfect Strangers.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite shows ever.
Really?
Yeah. Probably one of the first sitcoms I enjoyed as a young boy. I mean, I think it started in like the late 80s, so
Uh-huh.
I excuse you. It's not like I'm...
Right. No.
It-
I'm trying to think of like any sitcom that I like.
Seinfeld?
I've never seen it.
What?
You knew that? You didn't know that? I've never watched Seinfeld.
Oh, boy. That, like, when Bender said he's never watched Seinfeld, it, like, against my will, my face did this, where the one eye closes and you're kind of squinting, and just, like you're...
Like you're wincing.
Yeah,
It's
like a wince,
painful.
like a palsy overtakes you, you know? You haven't seen Seinfeld. Have you ever watched, like, an episode?
I think I watched the first episode, like the very first episode, and then I fell asleep and let it play, and I woke up at probably like the 6th episode.
Okay, well, I'll tell you this. Like, compared to the rest of the series, season 1 is horrible.
Uh-huh.
Like, pretty much any Seinfeld fan would probably admit that.
Right.
And it's still worth watching, I think, but I'm not saying that it's objectively bad. Like, it's just not worth your time. But once you get... I'm trying to think of how you would... Like, it's like a band who puts out an okay debut album,
Right.
and then their second one
follow-up
comes
is-
out, and everyone's like, oh my god, and it's like a classic, and then you go back and listen to the first, and you're just like, well, I mean, okay.
For me, that would be like Metallica putting out... What, was Kill 'Em All first?
Mm-hmm.
And then following it with Master of Puppets,
Ride the Lightning.
Ride the Lightning.
Yeah, but still. Yeah.
Same.
It's almost like...
You could say that Metallica fans would be like, Kill 'Em All is cool, but Ride the Lightning though.
Yeah, it's like that's when they became Metallica.
Right.
Really. Yeah, that's a good example. That really is. Because the jump in quality and songwriting and structure and everything is just like... It's just almost like a different band,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But that's what happens. I think a lot of... I mean, it's in music, it's in movies and books too. It's like a lot of times people will put out a debut something or other, and they're trying to like catch a wave that's already in motion, and then maybe they get a little success from that, and then it's like, okay, now
this is what we can really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we'll probably be in that realm as well.
I think so too.
Only it's...
But I'm fine with that, because if it means future success,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's what we're here for.
I just... Not that our first album was bad, but it's definitely...
It would have been... That album would have been so much better had we recorded with Josh.
Yeah.
Like, no offense to Moon Ranch. I mean...
No, but I mean,
love
when
Jack, and I really appreciate all the work Kirby did for us and everything. But just, like, when you boil it down to brass tacks, like... If we would have recorded the exact same album, like no changes or anything,
Yeah.
but recorded it with Josh, we'd probably still be that band.
That's...
you know...
I mean, you could make a case.
You could make a case. Some very personal things happened that, you know, led us to where we are now. And I prefer where we are now, but I just think things could have been slightly different had we been with Josh for that.
I think that's a fair assessment, because, you know, like, well, you're dealing with a studio that basically, well, in Moon Ranch, you're dealing with a studio that kind of operates on like a part-time basis.
Right.
You know, Josh does that for a living. That's like all he does. It's his job, you know, and I'm sure if you had recorded with Josh in 2004, it would be a much different album than you're getting in 2017. And he's been doing this as his job, like 10 to 12 hours a day, every day for the past, 15 years now. So it's like you would expect that progression.
I never want to record with anybody else.
I don't either.
Ever.
I'm the same way. It's like, even if some like massive producer came to us, I'm just like not interested, because what we've built there is so genuine.
Yeah, that's the exact word I was going to use. Like, I don't think that our friendship with Josh is any sort of like a front for him.
Right.
Like, I think that he records plenty of other bands that never see him outside of that studio basement.
Right.
But
definitely not being invited in for a movie night.
Right, but we got to go. We hung out with him multiple times after spending, all day recording with him, and watched a movie and played video games and went to the farmer's market together and all that kind of stuff. And it's just
like when you went back home, like they invited me over to watch the pay-per-view for WWE that was happening that weekend. So it's like, stuff like that you wouldn't get with just a random person who's really a really good producer, but there's an experience to it, that's really important as well.
Yeah, I would. And luckily, since we're signed to our own label, or will be signed to our own label, we can do that. Yeah. I'm totally on board. If I had my way, I would never record with anybody but Josh.
That's what I've said as well. So, sorry, mega producers.
Yeah.
Super Divorce isn't interested.
Nope. I'm just going to keep one to Josh.
Unless you want to collab. You can collab.
Yeah.
You can come into the mix.
Yep. But
you're gonna be talking to Josh Schroeder as well. So yeah.
It was such a fun time.
I think the next time is going to be even better, because look at what we did. To be honest, I know. It's like from from where we were a year ago, where all of this was just an idea. None of the songs were completely written. I looked it up recently when I was putting in the little notes on the album. But the first song that was written was Holding Hands. It was in like late October of 2016. This time last year, we had no songs that we were going to be able to play.
Nothing.
Because obviously, it's different with what we're doing now. We can put a backing track on like we're going to do, and we're going to craft a show around that. But
yeah, which we need to talk about after the podcast.
We got the instrumental tracks today, by the way, so
dope.
Good. But you couldn't put like a post-hardcore album on the backing track and just go out there and like scream along to it. Just
no. Then it's just. Then it's just karaoke, and I understand that like what we're going to do for the first while.
Yeah.
Like let's not sugarcoat it. It's going to be a while before you and I are able to actually play something live.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be like this Super Divorce karaoke show.
Yeah.
For a while, but the type of music that is, like, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
We're all our live show is going to be a spectacle.
Yeah.
This beer, dude, seriously, I'm not even done with it yet. Our live show is going to be all about spectacle.
Yeah.
We're going to sing live, and it's going to be awesome.
That won't be a backing track.
No, we are going to sing live, because right now that is our best option. Neither of us knows, you know better than I, but neither of us knows how to play keyboard proficiently enough to like perform the songs.
Right. It's like I'm capable enough to write songs and come up with ideas and all that kind of thing, but you know, another aspect to all this is like how many parts there are.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we were both playing instruments, it's like, well, which parts do we play? Because there's so many different things on the album that we could play. So then you have to figure out what you feel like performing live.
That's the exact reason I'm a little glad that, you know, at one time we were considering me playing drums and you playing bass.
Mm-hmm.
And there are multiple songs in the album where drum parts just overlap. And it's like, if I'm going to be drumming and also singing, I'm going to play the simpler beat. Or it's just like impossible for me to actually play this part.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have a simple bass kick or bass snare beat going on, but also some tom work, like all at the same time. A good example is 10 Speeds,
mm-hmm.
I think, has some portions that have overlapping drum parts. And it's like, I literally can't play those. So I think it's better to just scrap the drums, at least for now, for this album, for this time around,
mm-hmm.
Than to like just sit there and bass kick hi-hat simple beats,
mm-hmm.
you know, for a live show. If I'm standing up with you, I can move around and we can do stuff together and we can make it a spectacle.
Mm-hmm. More of a pop concert, really.
I mean, really, yeah. It's really going to be like it's going to be like a New Kids on the Block show,
which could be fun because how many like local pop concerts do you hear about?
None. So. I've never been to one. Everybody has to play their own instruments. Yeah. You know?
And I'm not faulting anyone for doing that.
No.
But it's just like that's like the point of necessity for us. It's like, how do you make it work in a way that's interesting for people to watch? And I think this is going to be the most interesting performance that we can put on at the moment.
Yeah, and it's going to be very fun though.
Yeah.
I almost, depending on how well it goes, you know, of course it'll be open for plenty of discussion, but it's almost like, what if we kept it this way? If it goes over well enough,
yeah, I'm with you.
What if we keep it this way? Because
in the future, you know, we can always get kind of like for hire musicians to come in and play shows like a lot of pop artists do, or
Yeah.
you know, just kind of bring people in for the time being.
Right.
They're not really band members. They just help us play
Taylor
live.
Swift
Of course.
tours with random jackholes
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
You that's what you do. You play. You have for hire musicians. I mean, it's a career path. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like being a musician is a career path, but also being a studio player is a career path.
Some people are totally down for that. They don't really give a shit
Right.
about being in the spotlight, as it were. They just
Right. I mean, you consider Paramore.
Mm-hmm.
Their guitar player Taylor was their rhythm guitar touring player
Mm-hmm.
for like ever.
Yeah.
And they put out it like, well, they did 2 albums and God knows how many tours with Taylor as the rhythm guitar player, and then finally after their 3rd album, after Ignorance, or whatever it was called, what was their 3rd one called? I won't be able to think of it. He was considered like a member of the band and was included in like promo shots and what have you. And then when Zach, the drummer, and Josh, the guitar player, left, he stayed on and became, you know, even more of a member of the band.
Green Day has a guy like that too, don't they? A guitar player.
Something Frost. His
Mhm.
name is like, it's like Nick Frost or Jason Freeze.
Jason Freeze.
Jason Freeze is like the rhythm guitar / keyboard player.
Yeah, Nick Frost is Simon Pegg's friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, because I watched, have you ever seen Bullet in a Bible?
Yes. I love that. I've got it right up there.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in so long. I really want to watch again. I don't know if I have it anymore. But when I saw them live, and then also I watched Bullet in a Bible a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a portion where Billy Joe introduces everybody, and
Mm-hmm.
and Jason. They have. I feel like they have 2 Jasons
Mhm.
that are backup. One is like brass instruments, possibly, and the other one is rhythm guitar. And so Jason Freeze is like their rhythm guitar keyboardist.
I wonder why you wouldn't just ask him into the band at that point.
For Green Day, I feel like it's because it's just been the 3 of them for so fucking long, and
But
that's
it's almost
the
like
it's the iconic trio. So like, I'm sure Jason Freeze is a very like accepted member of the show,
Yeah.
but
They probably had that discussion, I would assume.
yeah, I'm
I
sure.
I understand it. I guess the only thing that makes me, like, I think about that and it's like, okay, well, when did that DVD come out? Like 2004, 2005 maybe? And like,
I would put it later because it was after American Idiot, and I thought American Idiot came out in 2005.
I'm going to my CD case right now.
Yeah, because he
Let me
has
see.
Bullet in a Bible. God, Green Day, seriously, you know, so good. They're so good.
Green Day. Where is it? Where is it?
Did you lose it?
I can't find it, folks.
I'm gonna look it up right quick.
Yeah, look up that release date. Yeah, I don't know where that went.
2005.
2005, okay.
I was
So-
correct.
He was, I'm sure he was around before then.
I feel like he probably was.
So I just wonder, even if he'd been around for 5 years, it's like if you would have asked him into the band in like 2001, then at that point, from then to now, he would have been a part of the band longer than he wouldn't have. Green Day could have been a 4-piece for longer than they'd been a 3-piece, which kind of is it's like a counterintuitive thing you wouldn't imagine. Similarly to like how, what's his name, Robert Trujillo is now the longest tenured bass player in
For
Metallica's
Metallica.
history, and Scott Schreiner in Weezer is their longest tenured bass player. by quite a bit at this point.
But not the original bass player.
Right. And I think people just get this idea of like the original in their mind and assume that they're there for this lengthy amount of time, even if they really weren't. I mean, so I don't know. I
don't know. I still feel like Green Day made enough of an impact as a trio that adding another person in, again, like I said, as much as I'm sure Jason Freese is like a very respected, I'm sure he's great friends with the band. I'm sure they use him on every tour.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. I think they made enough of an impact as a trio that putting another person in there, like after Dookie, is just kind of like, it's almost weird at that point. It would be different if they had lost somebody and added a person,
Yeah.
much like Metallica or much like AC/DC or, any band. The Used even, has a new guitar player.
That bummed me out.
It bums me out too, man.
I didn't realize that Quinn was gone until that new video.
Have
I talked to you about this yet?
You told me the story that he didn't even know he was out of the band until he read a Facebook post.
Yeah, where they had posted hey, we amicably parted ways and Quinn is no longer a part of the group, and it's like, Jesus, dude. And then you find out that he found out through that same post.
I know.
And it's like, I used to watch their DVD all the time. And so I have that burnt in connection to very early Used, and I'm imagining being there from the very beginning, because Quinn was a member of the band before Bert was.
Yeah, really everybody was. Bert, I don't think they recorded anything with an original vocalist, but they brought Bert in.
Jeff wasn't he their bass player, I believe.
He may have been, I don't know.
I think he was the one who was initially doing vocals, and then they were like, oh, this isn't working exactly, let's find a vocalist.
Yeah.
And they went out and found Bert.
But it was Jeff, Quinn, Bert, and Brandon.
Yeah. Who's a member of Rancid now.
Is he?
Brandon.
Right.
Yeah, he left the Used. The Used and went and became a member of Rancid, which is pretty cool.
Which is cool, but also, I loved Brandon.
I did too, but I think, he left after In Love and Death.
Yeah,
and it was because of, he didn't like the direction the band was going in.
Okay.
He was a member, obviously from the beginning, and I think he left the band and went to join Rancid.
He's got a very specific...
He wanted that more, I think he wanted, the edge, a little more of the harder style,
right.
And they were moving away from that, it seemed like, so...
Yeah, their new drummer, Dan, has been with them since
then.
Lies for the Liars.
Yeah. So I consider, that's a legitimate band member at that point.
I think so, too.
He's been for a long time. He's, again, now at this point, he's probably been with them longer than Brandon was.
Right.
So, but it was really confusing because I didn't know about Quinn until I watched the new video the Used put out. And I read that the guitar player they have now was supposed to just be a fill-in for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And Quinn was going to come back for their anniversary tour. And, he got kicked to the curb, it seems. And
shame.
Sad.
Loved Quinn. AFI is the only emo band that's still just chilling with the four of them.
The same three members since 1991, I think, is when they formed. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
They've been a band for almost 30 years.
Davey, Jade, Hunter, and what's their drummers? Adam. Davey, Jade, Hunter, and Adam. And it's just been the fucking four of them forever. Well, no, Adam wasn't the original drummer, right?
Yeah, it's been, we should say it's been a three-piece.
Yeah.
I believe. But...
Was Hunter the original bass player?
Hunter, I believe, was. I think Jade was the new addition before they put out the A Fire Inside EP, which is when they changed what AFI stood for.
Okay.
Because before the A Fire Inside EP came out, they were called AFI, but it was asking for it.
Okay.
That's what the initials meant. And then Jade came into the band, and I think he brought with him like more of that darker feel. He was really into like The Cure and Joy Division and Depeche Mode and all that kind of stuff, which Davey was too, I believe. But they really brought that into the music.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, if you have one guitar player, their influences are going to shine through pretty dramatically. So, yeah. Bender just topped off. He finished off his Rumpkin, so I'm going to do the same.
Yeah.
Woo! Woo! Oh boy. When you drink a beer, you take a big swig and it makes you do like the head shake that a shot does.
Yeah.
Damn, son. I'm glad that whew. Oh boy.
Man, you still got a good bit to go. We are... Jesus. I can't do that. We're moving on to a second beer me, actually. Because the Rumpkin was a single bottle buy. Excuse me.
Woo!
I don't know if you feel drunk, but I do.
I have tears in my eyes. I'm probably going to feel drunk in like the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That was intense.
But we're moving on from that to Flying Dog Brewery's Dogtoberfest. Marzen. This is the beer that we walked in to the store and we walked right up to the cooler and I went, oh, Dogtoberfest, and that was it. That's what we decided to buy. The quote on the side says, "There's sauerkraut in my lederhosen. I repeat, there is sauerkraut in my lederhosen." This one, by comparison, is only 5.6 alcohol by volume.
So we've eased off the gas considerably.
Quite a bit.
By about 3 times, or 2 times.
2.5 times.
Oh boy. I just downed about the last third of that previous beer. That was intense. Something fierce.
I'm gonna need some food.
I have food on the way. Hey, did I tell you this? Did I text you the other night?
That you have food on the way?
No, not that.
Oh.
When I was, Jess and I went to the Eagle.
Uh-huh. No, you didn't text me.
Well. I went to the Eagle. All of you listening, cheers.
Cheers. Ooh, that's such a good lighter Oktoberfest feel.
I'm almost having trouble tasting it because
I know how heavy the other one was.
No, it's good though.
Yeah, it is good.
I can tell it's good.
You went to the Eagle.
I went to the Eagle, and for the first time since probably 2009, I had myself a chicken dinner.
Oh my god. I knew that's what you were going to say.
You knew it?
Yeah. When you said it for the first time, I was like, oh, you ate chicken.
I did. I ate chicken.
How was it?
Oh, God, it was so good. Oh, Lord, it was so good. Yeah. Man. I did about 2/3 of the meal because I ordered the half chicken meal.
Okay.
And I got through about 2/3 of it. What was it? I think it was like a breast, a leg, and a drumstick.
Okay. And
I went about until the end of the meal, about the last third. So I think, well, maybe a little bit. Whatever. I used the, they had like a jalapeno, it's like a jalapeno syrup. And it was so good.
Yeah.
And I just used that on the last third or so, and boy, man, I'm just like, so Jess was asking me, like, you just gonna eat chicken all the time now too? And I was like, well, probably not, but you know, from time to time, and like immediately when we left, I texted our friend Andrew, and I was like, hey man, there's a pay-per-view at the end of the month. Why don't you come over and let's do like some Caribbean jerk chicken. So we're gonna have like a big jerk chicken roast out over the fire pit at the end of the month.
Yes.
And I'm just like, oh god, my mouth's just watering already. Like,
Andrew's a good cook.
yeah, he is. He sent me the recipe that we're gonna use.
He's probably a better cook than me.
Well, maybe you should get him a job at the retirement home.
He'd hate it.
Would he?
I feel like
He works at Blaze Pizza Place.
Does he really?
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like he'd hate it.
Would you rather work at like a corporate pizza place or where you work?
I don't know. I guess I would rather work where I work.
Yeah.
But I've never worked in a like straight up restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really say. I feel like my job is probably much easier than his.
You think so?
Yeah. A lot of restaurants are very difficult. Even if it's... I don't know about fast food. I've never worked fast food either.
That's surprising.
Mm-hmm. Never.
I feel like
never once.
for fun, we should just get a job at like the same McDonald's and just report on it for like a month.
Dude, we would get fired so fast, I feel like.
Oh, we should so do that.
That would be kind of fun.
Because I've only done it one other time with like a friend.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like...
We should do the Step Brothers thing where we do a joint interview.
Yeah.
Like, you either hire both of us or you don't hire either of us.
One thing I would do, and this probably wouldn't work for you because you're scheduling. I would go back, and I don't know why, because it's like, it's a shit job, but I think it's my perfect kind of shit job. I would go back and work third shift holiday season at Toys R Us.
Really?
Like, when I think back of any job I've ever had, I'm like, yeah, I'd do that again. Because it's like, okay, well, you walk in, you go to the back, like the dock area, and you see all these boxes. It's like, all right, well, take your pallet to whichever aisle you have for the night, and all you do is just open boxes and put them up on the shelves for like 8 hours.
Uh-huh.
And no one interrupts you. Like, there are no customers walking up and saying, excuse me, and then you have to like stop what you're doing. It's just like, you can get through your shit as fast as possible, and if you do that, then maybe you can go and help like your buddy in his aisle, and you help him put his shit, and you guys are bullshitting with each other and whatever. Like, when I think about jobs I've ever had, that's the one that like maybe shines in the most golden light to me, because it fits my personality type the best, where it's like, I've started on this thing, and it's what would piss me off at like GameStop or something. It's like you're trying to like organize shit, and then ding, and then you have to go and help someone.
Right.
Okay. But if you are third shift by yourself, no customers, and it's just you and all these boxes you have to put away, it's a very personal thing in some sense, you know. How do you feel about that, Bender? How do you think you would handle a job like that?
I don't know, man. Like, the idea of working third shift just like has always sounded so terrible to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it always sounded cool to me. I always had a strange appreciation for people who work third shift.
Appreciation, sure, but
Yeah.
like for me personally, even though I stay up really late, I just like, I can't imagine working all day and then like having a couple hours off and then working all night.
Well, I mean, if you work two jobs, yes.
Okay,
because
yeah,
I did do
right.
that. I actually did that for a while. I worked Speedway. I worked third shift at Toys R Us from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And then I would work at Speedway by the Dayton Mall. I'd leave Toys R Us by the Dayton Mall and drive over to Speedway and work first shift there from 6 to 2. And when I came home, like, those were, I would say those were like some of the darkest days of my life.
Yeah.
Because then all I did was I had to sleep for maybe, 6 or 7 hours, and then get up and get ready to go back into Toys R Us to work again. That's rough.
That just sounds terrible.
If all you're doing is working third shift,
I guess it's
not as bad,
right.
because it's like you're working the same amount of hours, but it's just at night.
Right.
And there was something slightly comforting about the fact that, like, I would get off, like, this is before the Speedway thing was added in, but it's like when I would get off, because I did that, I think, 3 years in a row. So I'd leave Toys R Us, and I'd go, and I'd get, like, a fucking, I think I told you this maybe when we were eating at Burger King, is I would get the sausage and egg croissant meal at Burger King, and I'd go home and I'd eat that and crawl right into bed, and I'd know that, like, all these people are, like, just getting ready to start their work days, and it's like, I've just had my breakfast and I'm crawling into bed and it's, like, cold outside and fuck you guys. Like, there's a certain comfort to it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't be able to work. It would be fun to, like, get a job together again, but I wouldn't be able to do it now unless I were to quit my other job, which I, like, wouldn't be that opposed to. But
Or if I worked at the retirement home with you.
That would be funny. It would be so funny. It's not hard. You could probably get a job there.
I could be a server.
You could be a server. All of the servers are literally like 22 and younger.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they get tips at the retirement home?
I feel like they're allowed to take tips, which at my last home you were not allowed to accept money from residents. Yeah.
So they're trying to tell residents what they can and can't do with their own money.
Basically,
That's
yeah.
bullshit, brother.
But they because they were paid a higher hourly rate, they were like, you can't take residents' money because whatever. It never happened too often, but there were a couple times over the amount of years that I was there where somebody would try to offer a server a tip and they'd be like, well, I can't accept that.
Well, here's something if you're listening, because I know they do this at Noodles and Company.
Yeah.
They've got these little signs on their tables, and they're like, do not tip our waiters and waitresses.
Why? They have waiters and waitresses?
Well, they bring your food out to you.
Oh.
And then they say, don't clean it up, we'll take care of it. And then they send those people out to get it and clean up your tables. They're waiters and waitresses, by all accounts. You're just ordering yourself at the counter. But they have these little advisories, and it's like, do not tip. It's like, well, fuck you. I just ordered food at your place. Don't tell me if I can or can't give the person who's going to clean up after me and who brought me my food a little extra money.
Right.
Well, I do it every time I go in.
Yeah.
So, see how effective that is with your little signs.
Your fucking little signs.
Yeah. Telling me who I can and cannot give extra money to.
That's like, I feel like that's the same as... Shit, I had a really good example. No, I don't remember it. I'm like hella drunk. I had a really good person, like you could tip, but you wouldn't normally think to tip. It's not a bartender.
How about a gas station attendant?
I've never tipped a gas station attendant.
Well, maybe not, like, I'm not talking about like a person who just works there. Like if you go, and I'm saying this like a well-seasoned traveler, if you go to New Jersey, like, you're literally not allowed to pump your own gas.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I remember getting yelled at, like, the first time that I went to New Jersey with, Great American Beast when we were going out to the East Coast. We drove through New Jersey and I stopped to get gas. And I just pulled into the gas station and like got out and like, well, I just put my, fucking doing the thing. And like someone comes out, hey, no, stop, what are you doing? And I was like, shit, sorry, what? And they're like, took notice of like the Ohio license plate and like, you can't pump your own gas in New Jersey. And I was like, really? Like, yes, it's literally like against the law. Like,
what? No, it's not.
Yeah, like people are literally not. It's so crazy to think like that different states operate so differently in these like minuscule ways, but they would impact your daily life.
Yeah, so heavily.
Yeah, but it's like when you pull into a gas station in Jersey, you have to wait for the attendant to come up and take your card or ask you for like the cash and be like, well, okay, which grade do you want and how much do you want? And then they have to pump it for you, Like you cannot get out of your car at the pump. You have to stop and you have to drive up to like the gas station parking lot to park and get out. Like you can't get out at the pump and you can't pump your own gas. Yes, seriously.
I feel like it's just that's like one of those things.
Like, well, it's another one where, well, it's customary because you're not doing it yourself.
Right.
Well, you're supposed to at least leave like $1 or something for the gas station attendant because they're pumping your gas for you. I mean, it's kind of convenient if it's like, negative 10 degrees outside and you see them in their little hut out there waiting for you to pull up and they have to run out and pump your gas and you're like, fill up the tank. Maybe give them an extra $1 or something, but yes, you cannot do it yourself.
I just feel like that's one of those things where there should be more jokes about that.
What, from like famous comedians? Or?
Yeah, just like I've never ever in my life heard that you can't pump your own gas in Jersey, and I feel like that's such it's such a thing, like, that the rest of the country, or some of the rest of the country, doesn't abide by, that more people would take notice of it. And I would have heard of it by now.
You would think so, but that's exactly why I didn't know when it happened to me the first time. Right. Someone starts yelling at me, what I'm just pumping gas.
Right.
You can't do that here. Literally, it's against the law.
That's so weird. Like, it's like, does Jersey think everybody is too stupid to pump their own gas?
I guess they say
if you're from Jersey, I guess. See, that's what I expect to hear from comedians.
Yeah. Well, they say it cuts down, like, the number of drive-offs,
Oh, that's fine. But, for me, it's just like, how many fucking people are really just driving off with gas? But, they probably are. Somehow. Nowadays I thought gas didn't pump unless you put your card in or you prepay. Usually
not, and you would think that would get rid of the need. That would just totally take care of it. People to come out and pump your gas for you because you can't. Like, just, do you not think I'm a big boy?
Incapable of pumping my own gas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's at a certain point, the more you talk about it, it starts to sound like a luxury.
Well, yeah, especially in the winter, that's an awful thing when, like, the wind is just, like, whipping at you and you have to, like...
just stand there waiting for your tank to fill.
And you can't get back in your car because they say the static is going to make the entire gas station
explode. I get back in my car all the time. Well, I'll take that risk.
I've filled up plenty of times with my car still running.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never done that, I will admit. I've never filled up while my car is running.
Well, I've had to do it a couple times when, like, most recently, it was just a couple months ago when I got the van running again, but there was hardly any gas in it. And I had to drive it straight to Speedway and start to fill up, and it was like, well, it's not ready to be turned off yet, because then I'm going to have to get another jump. So I'll keep it running while I fill up. You can. So it makes me wonder, like, what exactly, what's going on here? What's the real risk?
Yeah, what's the real risk?
And I remember my grandpa telling me one time, like, when I asked him, because I saw him do it once, I was like, isn't there, like, some danger? He's like, nah, no. He's like,
they're just fucking with you.
Yeah. He's like, we always left our cars running, filling up our tanks back in the old days. And it's like...
Back in the old days.
Yeah, so what is this? What happened? Did one gas station blow up? And they were just like...
one in all of history.
Yeah. And they're like, this is because the person didn't turn off their car. Like, I don't know.
And it's like, you know, somehow, it's like, people must have been so much more malleable back then. Or some shit. Because I feel like now, people are so willing to not listen to advice from other people. Like, if you were just like, hey, 4 gas stations exploded because people left their cars on while they were filling up gas, there'd be some dude that'd be like, yeah, but that's, like, not gonna happen to me, bro. You know, and then still leave his car on. Like, but if it happened back in, like, the 1930s, where, like, one gas station explodes, and then they're just like, oh, shit, don't leave your car on while you fill up gas, I feel like every person in the 30s was just like, yeah, I'm not going to do that ever again, ever, for all time.
Yeah. I don't know. Fucking crazy people, man.
Yeah, man.
It's fucking wanksters.
Wanksters.
You know what wankster stood for?
Wangster?
I found that out.
Like a white gangster?
Yes! That's it.
Oh, I always called them wiggers.
That's what I always did when I was in school, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wiggers. But I guess wankster stands
Wangster. Yeah, white gangster.
for... Yeah.
With a big wang.
I don't feel like... I don't know. Oh, I wanted to talk about this on the program.
Okay.
So I did a pretty, and look, if you're listening and you're like a super elite PC person, fine, okay, I get it. But last night, I've replaced like a few components on computers before, but last night I replaced my processor for the first time.
Okay.
On any computer I've had. And I felt very accomplished because if you're not like a PC person, it's tough to comprehend how often things go wrong when you do exactly what you thought you were supposed to do. So I did that last night. I replaced my processor. I bought 2 new sticks of RAM for my computer. And I also got a new wireless card. And I installed all of these things last evening.
By yourself?
By myself.
Okay.
And turned on my computer. And everything worked perfectly. And you will not understand unless you've dicked around with the components of your computer what exactly that feels like. Because in the past, it's like almost anything you try leads to more problems that you have to then troubleshoot and figure this and that and that, whatever. But everything went swimmingly. And so my computer is much better equipped to handle the editing and such for our video shows and our podcast and uploading things literally by it'll be about perhaps 8 times faster uploading things than it was before.
Sweet.
And
I'm trying to build a computer.
are you?
Eventually. I have a friend. It's Lindsay's cousin's husband that I've been talking to. The guy that does the Idiot Squad thing on YouTube. I was talking to him not too long ago, and I told him I was trying to build a computer so I could take over editing for monster movies, and he said that if I got the money together, he would build a computer for me because he enjoys doing it.
That's cool.
Yeah. Cool. He's a cool guy. His name's DJ.
That's cool, DJ.
So I just need to get about $1,000 together.
Yeah, you can get something.
I'm not looking for anything too crazy.
No, like you can get somewhat crazy for $1,000
Right,
if you
right.
build it yourself.
Yeah,
If you're not like shambling into Best Buy like a zombie, and you're like, "What $1,000?"
He was telling me when I told him like kind of what I was going for, like editing and then maybe some mild gaming, whatever. He was like, "Oh, anywhere between 600 and 1,000."
Yeah.
know? So I'm actually like 1,000 would be dope. I'll probably get in touch with him when I have 800 saved up to start, getting things going. But yeah, I'm gonna build and have him help me build a PC eventually,
and then you can become a PC gamer too.
I know.
And you can play Lawbreakers with me.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be a long time before I get there. If I got $100 so far.
Look at it this way, okay? I don't know what your bills look like at the moment.
I have 0. They look like 0. I don't have any except for in car insurance.
Can you put aside? What do you get paid bi-weekly?
Yeah, bi-weekly, like $100 every 2 weeks.
Okay, so before the end of the year, you could have like a badass PC, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my Christmas present to myself will be a big old PC.
Do that.
I know.
That'd be good.
That's my idea. Because I'm not like stressing out over it, but I really, really want to release monster movies weekly. Mm-hmm. Like, I ain't trying to make you do it weekly, but like it's really like killing me that it doesn't come out weekly, because there's my mom especially has a lot of people at school who really enjoy it. There's a teacher whose husband is like super into it, and like they make a thing out of it every time a new episode. And there's only been 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And
but you have another one coming this week, right?
Technically next week. It'll be next week. Today's Thursday, so it'll be
next
this
week.
coming
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
The next time, yeah.
This coming Wednesday, a new episode. Episode 3 will come out. But there's my mom. There's a teacher, a coworker of hers at school whose husband is like all about it. Like, got really excited that episode 2 came out and was like, we have to watch this every other week when it comes out. Like, promise me we're gonna watch it. So it's really fun, and I really want to take over editing so that I can put it out more often.
You guys can look forward to that. It's gonna happen soon. Bender just needs his own damn computer.
That's all I need. I just need my own computer because my laptop is not gonna cut it.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna start filming on my phone too.
On your phone?
Yeah. I'd like to get a tripod attachment like Thomas Bicknell had.
Yeah.
But I might start filming on my phone because like picture quality doesn't matter to me as much as like the amount of time we're able to go.
Well, we could up that with
we could get ourselves a new camera.
Well, not even that. I was going to say we could get a new a larger
memory card.
We
could get a better memory card.
Yeah. That's just what we're stuck with for the moment. We can get a new one of those.
I suppose we could do that.
But Super Scary is coming back.
I meant to ask you about the list for that because I need to buy whatever I don't have that we plan on watching. I know the Slayer was one of them, but I'd like to pick up We're about to, hold on. If Nick can find it, we're about to announce October's Super Scary episodes right now.
Yeah, if I can just find this, just give me...
We had a business meeting about this a couple weeks ago.
Let me just see if I can just find this here.
Yeah, and I get paid on Thursday, so I will buy whatever we need me to buy.
Let's see. See if I can just find this here. That was something different.
Well, like I said, the Slayer is going to be one of them. I remember. Oh, and then we were also going to do Between Dawn and Day, which is Arrow Video is releasing that box set of the 3 movies that Romero directed between Dawn of the Living Dead and Day of the Living Dead. Or Day of the Dead, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think we were also talking about just doing a whole Romero tribute because he passed away.
Yeah, we were.
I mean,
Which would still be cool.
if it was up for discussion, we could do a Toby Hooper tribute too. Do Texas Chainsaw 2, Life Force, Mortuary, Toolbox Murders, Salem's Lot, Funhouse, all of
He
it.
did Salem's Lot?
Yes, he did. He did the TV adaptation of Salem's Lot.
Oh.
He also did a movie called Eaten Alive, which was basically Jaws with a giant crocodile, I think.
Oh. Well, here we go on Super Scary for 2017.
Here's our October lineup. This is going to be a week-long event. Super Scary is returning.
Wednesday the 25th through Tuesday the 31st.
Yep.
And a double feature. No. Triple feature on Halloween.
Yeah, because that's the Romero, the Crazies, the something about a witch.
Season of the Witch.
Season of the Witch.
And there's always Vanilla.
There's Always Vanilla is the third one.
So, on Wednesday the 25th, we will bring you Terror Vision. On the 26th, it will be The Burning.
Oh, so good.
27th, Fright Night. 28th, Return of the Living Dead. 29th, The Burbs. 30th, Godzilla 1985. And on the 31st, on the Super Scary Halloween George Romero
Triple feature.
The Crazies, Season of the Witch, and There's Always Vanilla.
Yeah, I'll need to get myself a picture of that list so I can buy. Let's see, what do I need to buy? Fright Night, Return of the Living Dead, Burbs. I need to buy 3 through 7, basically. Because I have Terror Vision and The Burning. I have 3 copies of The Burning. That's how much I like it. Can't believe you haven't seen it.
I know.
We could probably switch out Terror Vision.
Switch it out,
Maybe.
since you already did it.
Yeah. I did it on Monster Movies, so maybe we'll switch it out for Super Scary.
What about Trilogy of Terror?
Trilogy of Terror? Maybe. Also, Tales from the Dark Side is another one that I know about that I haven't seen. That's a sort of a anthology.
Or The Gate.
Yeah, The Gate would be good. I can pick that up on Vestron. Speaking of anthologies, now that it's late September, well, mid-September, really, I was at FYE the other day, and they had a Halloween display of horror movies. And I don't know if you have Trick or Treat on Blu-ray, but they had a number of copies of it on Blu-ray. It was $20, which I thought was steep. I'm going to check Amazon first.
Okay.
But there's a Blu-ray of Trick or Treat out there, and I really want to pick that up.
All right. Well, chefs, it's going to about do it for this week, I think.
Yeah.
So, stick around. We're going to see y'all out of here.
I'll see you in the outro.
Hope you guys enjoyed that episode of the Super Divorce Supercast. Get y'all out of here pretty soon. Go to superdivorceme.com. One-stop shop. Superdivorce. Superverse.
One-stop shop for the Super Divorce Superverse. Are you drunk too?
A little bit.
Jeez.
I haven't eaten anything. So.
I haven't either. I really haven't.
Yeah. So, follow me across social media at Nicholas Villars with a CHOLAS Villars. Wherever you go, if I'm there, then I'm there, and if I'm not, then you looked in the wrong spot.
Follow the band. Start out at superdivorceme.com. I think you already said that.
Yeah.
But also find us on Facebook.com/superdivorce, Instagram at superdivorceband, Twitter at superdivorce. And then you can follow me, myself, and Irene at Bender Butt on Instagram. Instagram is where I like to be the most, so that's where I am. I'm also on Twitter and Snapchat, but I don't give two shits about those websites. So we are now going to close the podcast because we have more business to attend to concerning live shows and other exciting things for you guys.
Yeah. So, hope you enjoyed, chefs.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
See you next week.
Super Divorce.